your last topic. Then your exam, your for the not the last topic, the last topic for test two. All right. Your your test will be on next Tuesday on the 8th. With similar manner or the way we conduct on test one. 8 to 9 p.m. I can give all the information. 8 to 9 p.m. on the Tuesday. Uh, on the strength of the on the stresses of the gear. Question. Then we give you 10 minutes to upload. Then question two will be 9:10 to 10:10. That will be bearing installation. And the third question will be today topic will be 10:20 to 11:20. That will be V-belt installation and 10 minutes for uploading. The same manner you can download your question after 6 p.m. Okay, but the password will be given you I think 10 minutes or 5 minutes before the question before the test start. That the same manner. And okay, that will be next week. Right. We start. Can we start our last topic? Okay. For this topic, is going to be a bit. There's a lot of reference. If you see, there's going to be my a lot of PDF file you have to a lot note you have to download. Okay, this is going to be the first one. Then going to be product calculation of the belts. This is going to be the formula that in because we are using the belt, we are using the one that is available in the market. Therefore, these are the all the other one from A1, A2 formulas, the A3 method to cut method design process to select the V belts. This is the classification of V belt, the type of the length that we have, and this one going to be the belt weight per unit, and finally the power rating. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will come from the the one in the market. This is from the manual, the catalog on the market. We are using the one that available in the market. There will be a lot of things you have to refer to make sure you have downloaded everything before the test. You have A1 to A6, apply the going to be one topic and one more one will be allotted will be your example. Right, let's start. Where is belt? Belt going to be okay. This is going to be example of belt that you have. Okay, this is going to be power transmission at long distance. Unlike the bearing, unlike the gear, it's going to be short distance. It's going to be long distance. Okay, the example of application of belt in the figure. Ability to absorb shock that the belt is used. Okay. Except for timing belt, I will show what the different timing belt. Okay. There is some slip and creep. When you see, for example, let's say when you see if you in the morning, you hear that the sound of suddenly when you switch on the aircon, suddenly of certain very loud noise, that will be the slipping of the belt. Why is slipping? Because of maybe at the pulley there's oil. Okay, as the oil at the pulley, there's no more oil. The friction will take over the belt. Then the noise that you can hear. Okay, for the white belt and the flat belt, this is flat belt. A flat, they can able to move product from various points on the point. Okay, this is the type of belt we have. Okay, this is flat belt. This is the flat belt, the one that I show here. This is a flat belt. This is the one is flat belt. Okay, round belt, right? Okay, the flat belt and the round belt, there is no limit. Why? Because you can have the length is depend on you. You can, for example, I want this length. I just buy that amount of length, the same as flat belt, and we just use the belt. Unlike the other two, timing belt and V belt. This is V belt. is fixed. Going to be, for example, certain value here. Okay, that will be fixed. For example, let's say I take example wheel belt here. Okay, here. This will be the length of the belt, the possible. That is the belt code. For example, this is A20 here. Okay, A20 here. A20. Right. The possible is that the length of the belt is going to be the A20. That means the length going to be 22 inch. Meaning that we have the pulley, the pitch diameter 22 inch, we can use this one. It's going to be fixed. The same goes with the timing belt because it's fixed. Except that timing belt have, you see this is timing belt, have a tooth. Meaning that if your timing belt, you need the pulley will be different from the wheel belt. Okay, that's why you have limited here. Going to be fixed, and the structure going to be fixed. Okay, this is example of the working principle of the belt. Okay, I have the one example. I stop sharing now. One example of video to show you how the belt is the working principle of the belt. Okay, hopefully you can see the belt. Can you see how it works? Okay, what you should identify or recognize that the rotation of the belt here at the pulley, because this is going to be your driver, the push motor going to driver, what going to be rotation, and see which one going to be the tight side, and which one going to be the slack side. Okay, you're going to rotate counterclockwise. Okay, it's going to be slack. You see the slack side going to be a bit, what I call it, kendo. There is a slack side, and the tight side will be a bit tension. Okay, remember there's when the belt is rotated as in the video, for example, this one side will be slack side. In this case, that will be slack side, and the other will be tight side. The slack side going to be a bit of the belt going to be a bit go down this way, or if the on tight side on the bottom, we're going to be a bit go down that way. That will be the slack side. Okay, how it works? When this pulley is rotated, okay, the friction between the pulley and the belt will pull this one. That's why it's going to be tight side. Okay, and it will release up and end of here. Okay, as this one will pull this one, will pull this one, and the belt will pull the other pulley. They're going to be driven pulley. It just rely on the friction between the what I call it, the pulley and the belt. Okay, remember there's two type of, remember your friction. I just record your static and your is from your kinematic. Your coefficient of kinematic. Okay, what the difference? For example, let's say if you have a block of thing here, there's a block. Okay, you try to pull this one, right? All right. As you reach, for example, certain value, okay, suddenly it goes down, right? Okay, this is going to be your static. Once it moves, the friction become kinematics. That means the kinematic friction is going to be a bit low compared to static, right? Similarly, as this move, as long as the power, the load here is not beyond the static, maximum here, okay, that means there is no relative motion between the pulley and the belt. That means it's going to be smoothly moved. When, let's say, I put more power, what's going to happen? Going to be kinematic. What is going to happen that your pulley going to be rotate here. Okay, without that means there's a lag between the belt and the pulley. That's why you will hear sound. For example, this present for fuel in the morning, and when you switch on the aircon, that sound will be the sound between the pulley and the belt. Okay, remember the tight slide and the slack and the tight slide. Okay, if the other way around, the bottom will be the slack side and the top will be the tight slide. Okay, this is the basic equation for that govern the power between the belt, the pulley and the belt. This is the tension of F1. Okay, if for example in this case, this will be highest one because you rotate in that direction. Okay, this will be the tight slide. That will be F1, and F2 will be on slack side. Okay, that means F1 over F2, F1 minus the centrifugal force must be less or equal. This is why I said less or equal. Okay, remember the static of friction here. Friction is depend on the static coefficient going to be increased as the load increase, right? Remember, right? Okay, let's say the load increase, the static coefficient will be increased. Once is here, that will be the maximum. That's why we have this value much less than that value. That is the point here when it's changed to kinematics. The coefficient of kinematics. That's the reason why we have a exponential of friction time rate angle in the rate angle are in radian. That means it rely on the rate angle here. Okay, the larger the rate angle is going to be you can have more power because the F1 can have larger value because it's going to be because if you have, for example, let's say you make the rate angle smaller, that means you're going to have a smaller value here. All right, that will be okay. That's another thing. This is going to be a belt. Okay, we have tensioner. Remember your slack side here. Mostly we put on the slack side. Okay, this will be slack side. Okay, if we put tensioner here, what's going to happen? We are going to make this going to be a bit tension, and we're going to make the rate angle to be larger. Is it right? Yeah. Okay, we have tension here. We make the slide side to be a bit more tension, and the rate angle to be larger. The idea of tension actually more on the rate angle. Okay, the main idea is that when they have more rate angle, that means we can have transfer more power. Okay, the pulley is used to tensioner to increase the rate angle. However, having tensioner will reduce the life. Why is the reduce of life? Because of the remember when the belt is from this point to that point, the belt the power the tension of belt going to be tension going to be higher. Suddenly it go to lower. This fluctuation cause the will result in the belt life. For example, we have a tensioner. Okay, because even though it better in right angle, however, it will cause to reduce the life of the belt. All right. Okay, that is the basic thing. We just using the equation. Okay, we're going to go through how we're going to select belt from the manual. Okay, hopefully you have let's say you have this equation. You have the problem here. Okay, based on the design, because in the test we just focus on the V belt. We don't have anything. We just focus on the V belt, and the manual we have on we just focus on this example. Okay, you are so lucky you have one example that will be used in the test as well. This V belt. Okay, this is going to be based on the design work, and this is the condition stated in Q2, table Q2. For example, this is going to be your driver, input driver on that direction. That will be the slack side. This is going to be your tight side. Is it? Because this is going to be pull, this is going to be tight, this is going to be your slack. You have to remember how to which one is tight, which is slack. Okay, the center to center is going to be 80 inches. Okay. based on design work condition above, this one, okay, table Q2 and figure Q2, okay, type of driving machine we have to for crusher, motor capacity going to be 200 pound each, that will be the power and the RPM, we combine both, we got power the motors. Running hours in single day, that means going to be work for 10 hours per day, that's the condition of the working. Speed ratio, between the speed ratio going to be reduced by 3. Means this is 3, for example, whatever value here, the diameter of the larger pulley going to be 3 times larger, because we're going to reduce by 3. Environment condition that going to be dusty and exposed to rain. Okay, maybe we put the structure in the outside, outdoor, and dusty environment. That is going to be the environment now. Okay. Determine the following condition, the belt type, the belt length, center to center, and at the end we're going to set the tight and the slack side. Okay, that will be your problem. Okay, okay. Let's say I just go to the belt. Okay, then in this belt power rating here, we have two types. It's A type and X type. There's two things here. What is A type? The A type going to be this way, because we have the we going the A type, the AX, the A type going to be purely the belt with a fabric cover, meaning that the side will be used as the pulley. That means on the side will be connected to the pulley. This will be that means we have the pulley here. That means all the faces are connected to the pulley. That's why it will be wrapped with a fabric to make sure the friction on the both sides, on the side, on the bottom as well. In the case of this one, you just focus on the bottom will be on there. Let's say we can have the like this, that AX. This is different, that is two type of belt. Okay. The second, remember you should have everything. The formulas. All right, this is the formula may be used afterward. Okay, because this formula sometimes is a bit different from the theoretical value. For example, in the case of this example cases, in the theory, there's no 0.9. We just the minimum static tension will be the tight tension on the tight over the slack divided by 2. But for this specific type, 0.9. That's why we need to refer to that. There's a basic formula here. However, there's certain parameter used for the specific. For in this case, you have to use the formula in this one. Okay. This is the most important part. Okay. Design process of classical wheel belt. We just follow this step for you to select the belt. Right? We just follow this step. Okay. Right now, okay. Remember your equation, your problem here. All right. Okay, we just follow this step. Okay. The A3. Type of machine. What's going to be the type of machine here? I just have this one. The type of machine going to be crusher. You just have this one here. This is going to be crusher. Okay. Can you just write in your notes going to be type of machine going to be crusher. Man, okay. I have a smaller crusher. Okay. I just make it smaller. You just follow. This is going to be transmission power. Okay, is ideal. That means the transmission power going to be this one, is it right? Pound. This is the motor capacity. You can take this value. Okay. I put it here. Copy paste. Okay. Now, copy paste it here. Take the transmission power. The torque going to be 2,000 pound each, and RPM motor going to be 500. running hour per single day, 10 hours per day. Per day. All right, small pulley speed going to be 500 RPM. You're right, because that's where the motor going to be attached. The speed ratio going to be 3 equal to 1. Okay, which one? Going to be larger pulley over the datum over the small pulley. All right, that means 3 equal to 1. That means it's going to be equal to 3. 3. The larger pulley is going to be 3 times larger of the smaller pulley. That's going to be equal to 3. Interim distance, I think we cannot do and first because we don't know the diameter of the smaller pulley. We just left it as it is. Then it's still unknown. Special use for environment condition. Remember that to be rain and dusty area. All right. This is from information from the question. All right. Right, and you just take information from the question, we just list down everything. That will be your first step. Any questions so far? All right, Okay, we go for with this number step. We just follow the step here until we finally set the belt depth. Okay, right, and that is how we're going to. It's going to be, I think. But you have to understand where to look for. All right. The second step in the catalog is say how to calculate the service factor, which is KS. All right. Firstly, that you say that service factor going to be service corrosion factor table 2-1. Okay, this is going to be, is it K0? Yes, KS, service factor 2-1. Okay, this is going to be your service factor. Right? I think it's not K0, it's supposed to be K0, right? The first one is K0, service corrosion factor. Service factor in KFA. So we call it K0. Okay, what do you have here? Okay, this type of machine, we're going to crusher, you right? Crusher. All right, any there crusher there? There will be crusher. Okay, that will be our machine. All right, and running time per day, maximum power going to be less than 300% of the rating. Okay, let's check the detail of the question. Or less than the power rating, less than 300%. That means we're going to be this one A3. Formula going to be A3, right? It's going to be on this one. It's going to be 10 hours. It means it's going to be 1.3. Okay, the right of crusher. This running time is 10 days, 10 hours. This based on question, because they're going to be 10 hours per day. Okay, and it's going to be 1.3. Right. How to design? Okay, the ideal corrosion factor is going to be table 2.2. Okay, the ideal corrosion factor is going to be this one. All right. How this thing work? You see the notes here. What is the ideal corrosion factor? Do I have? Oh, I do have the figure. Right. What is the ideal corrosion factor? For example, where is the location of idler? Right. Let's say we have two pulley here. In this case, let's say I did here. Right. I have two pulley here. One pulley, another pulley there. All right. Remember we have to check the direction of the movement, but that direction is going to be direction, right? It means this is going to be the tight side. Right? You have to identify which one the tight. If you don't identify, you cannot identify, you just go and see the video again. Because this, as this rotate to that one, this try to pull the larger pulley. That's what tight side. This is going to be the slack side. Okay, that is going to be a slack side. This is going to be your tight side. Okay, this is going to be your left side. Okay, it said that belt. Okay, if the belt, the idler going to be at the slack side, that means on this one. You can place inside here the slack, or you can place outside. This is going to be inside. This is going to be outside. Okay. On the, actually it's not recommended to put idler on the tight line. It can be inside, okay, as well of the outside. Okay. The main idea of the idler cost factor is to deal with the, I call it the life of the, to compensate the life of the belt. Okay. Let's say, remember this is going to be your position. First of all, you need to identify the slack side and the tight side first. Okay. If the idler happen to be inside here, that will be inside. Okay. Idler going to position outside the belt going to be outside. All right. Let's go to our problem. Okay. This is going to Ki going to be 0.1. Okay, that will be 0.1. All right. Finally, the environment. Okay, every single thing to add. For example, in our case, going to be dusty environment and water splashing because you want to be exposed to rain, right? That's 2. That means 0.2 plus another 0.2 is going to be 0.4. Okay, 0.4 is going to, okay, sorry, this is going to be, thanks, this is going to be 0.4. All right, going to be 0.2 from the dusty and plus another 0.2 from the water splashing because it's going to in the rain. Okay, that will be our KS. Then we just add here, going to be correction factor 1.3 plus 0.1 because of the idler were to be the position of its outside the slack, and 0.4. Okay, that will be 1.3. 1.8. That means we need to have power 80% larger than the calculated one, the design one. Okay. This is going to be your equation. Then how to calculate design power? Remember, the design power going to be the transfer power. Okay, using this equation, HT. This is based on the motors. This transfer power based on the motor where you have. This is based on the, because that the power is transferred based on motors. But how much the design power needed there? Okay, that will be our design power. Okay, can you calculate this one first? Number 2, roughly based on the information you have mentioned here, 200 pound each, right? If you have the in kilowatt, you can have the factor here. All right, the RPM going to be 500. All the information will be here, right? That will be the HT in horsepower. Then the design will be time the AF, which is service factor 1. Okay, I give you around, I think, 2 minutes to calculate the how to calculate the power, and we got the H design will be in here. 11:30. Okay, let's say our example. This is the thing that for the service factor, for the position of idler gear. All right, this I show you the one before this. This is, remember, this one going to be your tight slide, going to be your slack side, and this going to be your tight slide. This one tight, this going to be your slack. Okay, if this position will be inside, that will be 0.1. Okay, outside going to be 0.0, 0. This is going to be 0.1, inside 0.2, and finally the other position. Let's double check the outside going to be, the outside going to be, okay, the first one going to be 0.0, the outside going to be 0. You just follow this table. All right, that will be the idler gear. All right, in order to calculate this one, firstly you need to calculate the horsepower based on the torque here. Again, to be the torque going to be 2000 times the RPM 500, you will get 15.87 horsepower. Okay, that means the design power will be time KS, we get 28.56 horsepower. Right, That will be our design power. Okay, that is the end of the meaning that, okay, even though we have this power, right, in the design here to make it safe, we are consider this value. That's what it means. Even though the actual power motor is 15.87, but in the analysis of the belt, we are using this power. That's what it means. That means when you do the design, the power going to be larger. than the actual power. That's why, that means we're going to be safer. That means even though you can see actually the belt can withstand 28.56, even though we have only 15.7. That means it's going to be 80% more than the actual power in design. That's why the reason why the design power should be larger. If the design power is smaller, it's going to be problem, right? Because that means the actual power going to be very small. That's why we have design power to be larger than the actual power. Okay, that will be what it means. Okay, after that, what you should do? Any question so far? Because I'm going to quite fast. Any question? No question?
No, Doctor.
Okay, right. Oh, sorry. I just shared the. All right. We go to the. That will be your reference. The A3. That will be step number 2. Okay. Right now, we should go to step number 3. In step number 3, we're going to select what type of belt we're going to have. That based on our design power and our small pulley speed. This is what our small pulley speed is going to be 200. Is it 500? I mean, this is going to be 500. I just draw a line there. 500 roughly. That value up to there. Okay. The power going to be what value? 28.56. That will be 80. 28.56. 2830. Okay, roughly going to be here. Okay. 25. All right. Roughly 28 will be there. It's going to be C type. To be C type or B type. Let me check. I rather choose. Okay, going to say here because it's going to be more toward that area. Okay, because this is 30. This long, that means going to be roughly here. It's going to be C type here. What you mean then? In the V belt, there's so many types. There's A type, B type, C type, D type, and E type. Okay. For each of these belt, for example, we take this example. Let's say we have A. This is going to be A. We have the chart of A, B, C until E. They're going to be wrapped with fabric. We have AX until EX. That's the choice we have. You can have A is A, or you can just index C, or you can have CX as well. Okay, in this case we just choose C. All right, so this will be our C. Okay, from there, okay, based on 28.56, okay, the RPM type C is selected. Actually, the between A, B, C, D, and E, the C will take more power. Right? If you take this this is going to be very small power, and it goes to that type, it's going to be can take more power. Right? That means in this case we are choosing C because it takes more power. Right? That's what it means. That it will be based on step number 3, based on your design power as well as your RPM. Okay, decide for C and C type. All right. C type selected. All right. Okay. Right now, what you should do is that you just follow the step here. All right. Select the small pulley. Okay. In this case, in the question we give you, we don't have any small pulley diameter. Right. We're going to assume that the small pulley is going to be the minimum small pulley based on the belt type. Okay. Okay. In this case, that we have C, the smaller pulley is going to be 9 inch. Okay. It's going to be our small pulley. We have C, this one, our small pulley going to be 9 inch. Meaning that we're going to have, this going to be 9 inch. Right, this is going to be 9 inch. Right? And the larger pulley going to be speed ratio of 3, that's going to be 27 inch. That's why in the first step, I cannot define this value, the value of interim center to center distance. Oh, center we can define, sorry, we can define as 18, sorry. But I cannot define the speed and the diameter of the pulley. Okay. In this table, we are in this table we mean that we have the minimum of 9. Yeah? You can have 10, you can have 12, doesn't matter. But that is minimum. That if you choose C, indicator of CX, you can have 6.8. That will be your, okay, that will be for the AX if you proceed with the CX, the different configuration. All right. Based on that, the diameter pulley, the larger going to be time the speed ratio, which is 3. Okay, we can get that it's going to be 9 times 27. Right. Okay. After that, I think we finished step number 4. Okay, you just okay. Okay, we go to step number 5 now. Okay, this is from the step number 5. You have one equation, the first equation here. Okay, what is the first equation that, okay, this is try to estimate the, okay, based on center to center. Okay, this is a what I call it estimation formula. This is you estimate the first formula is estimate based for the, okay, they estimate the length of the belt. LD is the length of the belt. This LD, the interim length of the belt will be LD. Okay, this is the estimation of the length of the belt. Okay, the second question here is the center to center equation. With this one, which is this one, center to center, based on the B value, the length of the belt, and so on. Okay. Okay. The third one is that is basically you have predetermined the center to center. That is our case. Is it right? Because we have determined the center to center will be 18 inches. If we want to be 9 and 10, that's the best thing. Now we have to use the equation number 3. Because the center to center is predetermined, use the following formula to determine the interim belt datum length. Meaning that what is the length of the belt? Because remember, you have a pulley here. Okay, what it means? We have a small pulley and the larger pulley. What is the length of this length? What is the belt length here? What is the length of this belt? That's what we're going to calculate. What is this length? If we have this configuration 9 to 27. Right? And now can you do a calculation using this one? Right? What is the LD value, the length of the belt here, the LD here. Okay, because this is going to be, I think, 3 minutes again. Okay, do calculation and compare with my example. Okay, I give you 3 minutes. Alright, based on the equation, we have to insert all the value here. C is 18, smaller diameter 9, 27. We will get the value of LD is 97.05. Okay, that means the length of belt here going to be 97.05. In order to have this configuration, we must have, in order to have 18 inches minimum, 9 inches and 27, we must have the length of the belt 20. The value, we're going to have 97.05. That means, based on that value, we can select the belt type. Which belt? We remember this is the C type. I just type this one, 97.05. Just remember the value, 97.05. Right? This is going to be your, we go to number 4. You choose the type of bag that we want to have. This is C. So that's the first one. Okay. This is going to be the your datum. They're going to the please circle 97.05. Okay. Let's say, okay, let's highlight this one. 97.05. Right. You can choose either 96.9. All right. If you choose 96.9, right here, this is going to be the minimum. The length, if you have this composition, going to be 97.05 inch. Right. We have two choices here in based on A4. 96.9. Right. 96 point. The choice we have. The first choice is going to be 96.9 inch. And the second choice is A4, 97.9. Right. Okay. What it means here, okay, this 97.05 inch going to be if you want to have 9 inches diameter small pulley, 27, and the edge 80 inches. Right. In the question, we don't say anything whether the center to center distance is going to be minimum or maximum. Okay. Let's say, okay, if you don't state that, you can have two possible choices. You can have this one, 96.9, which is going to be shorter than this, meaning that if you choose this one, that means your center to center going to be less than 80. Is it right? If you choose the first one, your center to center must be smaller than 80 inches. All right. If you choose the second one, that means it's going to be a bit longer than the 97. That means your center to center going to be larger than 80 inches. It depends on your design design constraint. If the design said that okay, the maximum length of center to center will be 80 inches, that means this will be your choice. Right. That's what it means. If the design length is, let's say that going to be minimum 80 inches, that means the choice is going to be number 2. It depends on the question. In this case, let's say I assume to be minimum. This 18 going to be minimum. If it doesn't mention anything, I choose 97.9. That means that will be my choice here. I can have a 1 as well, but I have to, the C going to be smaller. However, in certain case, the C going to be mentioned either as minimum or maximum. Okay, meaning for example, let's say the maximum is 80 inches. That means the choice going to be the first one. If the minimum going to be 80 inches, the choice going to be 97.9. Because 96.9 and 97.9 is the standard length of the belt. That's what it means. Okay. After having the, let's say we choose the 97.9, that we choose the second one. After having this choice 97.9, then we have to calculate again the center to center because the configuration of the pulley is going to be different. Remember, because the configuration we have here is based on 97.05 is 9, 27, and 18 inches, the center to center. When we change the 97.05 to 97.9, we have to configure again the what is the center to center distance here. What is the center to center distance here, right? Then what we should do that we have to finalize after the step number 5. We should finalize all the configuration of our what is the main. I think that there's no changes on the pulley and diameter pulley, smaller and larger, except for this value going to be dependent, going to be larger or smaller. All right. In having that, and we have to 97.9. You see we have that. Okay, the A4 is it A4. Okay, the code we're going to have is that B going to be C95. That what? That means in this section we're going to use C95. That will be C95. That will be the belt we use. Based on A4. The 97 is going to be the length. We choose 97.9. That means the belt code will be C95. That will be our, okay, sorry, 96. Recalculate a bit, again the C using the equation we have in A3. This equation, it should be the 18 inches should be larger, because we are using longer length of belt. That should be longer. We got 18.485. Meaning that if you do calculation, you find out that the number going to be smaller. You have to do calculation again. Because we use longer belt, it should be the C going to be larger. Okay. At the end of the day, we're going to have, okay, this is going to be your configuration. Right? 9 inches, 27 and 18.485. Is it right? That will be the final configuration for our pulley system. Right. That will be step number 5. Okay. Any question? I stop here. Okay. Meaning that step 1 to step number 5 is just to finalize your belt type first. Secondly, is that your final configuration of your pulley, diameter small pulley, your larger pulley, as well center to center, based on the selected, I call it selected length of the belt. And you should get, for example, in this case, all of the configuration here, okay, the detail here, what the value here, going to be any1, plus the type of belt. In this case, going to be C90, if not mistaken. Then going to be C90. That will be belt type. That will be at the end of step 5. Okay, any question? Let me stop here first. Any question before proceed to the step and stick and the stick 7 and until finish. Any question?
Doctor, I have one
Yes.
question. Is it possible where the center to center system need to be fixed? Or
If center to center have to be fixed, that means because the problem is that it depends on, if you want to be fixed, you have to play around with pulley. Besides, okay, like I show, yeah. If, for example, in the case that you want center because the design constraint, right? Right. If you want to fix this value, that means what you should do? Because it's 97.05. It's very difficult. You need to do iteration. Because the problem is that You have to play around with the diameter if you want to be fixed. I think you can play around, okay, with the center to center. Okay, and then I will show you why. Because if you see for the belt on the pulley, right? If you go to the your icon of the car, whatever, you see there's a slot at the end of the. I will show you at the end. There will be a slot. I will show you this one, right? You can play. There's a slot for when you do tightening of the belt. Okay, you can the smaller pulley, one or pulley. I think normally the smaller pulley can move. Okay, in this case, for example, okay, you can move up to whatever value here. Okay, take up allowance here. I mean, what is the best solution now? The best solution is that you play around with the C, because when you try to install it's very difficult for example, you have a belt. How can you install this belt into the pulley? That's the reason why you need to have the one of the pulley should be there's a take up allowance. That means you can play the distance of then you try to tighten the belt, and then you can have the distance. All right, you see my point?
Okay,
I think it's more practical for you to have the center to center, because the smaller pulley or the larger pulley should be they have a take up allowance. There's certain value that you can play around the position of the pulley, because that is in the process of selection. At the end of the day, we should find what is the distance, what is the take up allowance for the pulley. We can remove the pulley. We can at certain distance in the slot at the back. Okay. Any more questions before we proceed?
Doctor,
Yes, go ahead.
one question. We have two equation for datum length, right?
All right.
Can you
Okay.
explain
You can.
again
Okay.
why we choose the second one?
Okay, right. Actually, okay, you can try this one. I think the formula will be the same at the end, because I see another example using this formula. You got the same answers. Okay. I normally do this one because it's based on this one. You can try this one at try. You try this one, whether you get the same value. I think going to the same value. However, this is going to be the center. I predetermine center to center distance. That means I already determine the center to center, which is that value. Because I want 18, right? Okay, you can try this one. I think, okay, it's mostly the same equation, right? Okay, you can try this one. Try. Do you get the same answer? I think I probably yes. Normally I use the 3 because the question is center to center. Okay, can you do this one first? I think you can. I think if you try if you got the same answer, then you can use the first answers. Then first answer will be a lot faster than the third question, right? Maybe the question is a bit what call it shorter. Okay, normally the first question is estimation for the LD. And anyway, I'll do the estimation as well, right? You can try that. Okay. Because I see some example using the first question, the first equation.
Okay,
All right.
so one
Okay.
more.
Okay, go ahead.
For step number 4, table 2.4, I think.
Step number 4.
You
Step
said
number
just now
4.
that we choose C first, right? Then if you want to
Yeah.
proceed, choose CX. What does it mean?
Okay. If you have a choice there, if you want to proceed with CX, you can choose 6.8. Then your company will be different. 6.8. The larger going to be 3 times. That means this company will be different. Instead of 9, it's going to be 6.8. If you choose CX, that means your configuration is going to be totally different from what you choose if you choose C. That's what it means. You have 2 choices here. Remember I mentioned to you that C is the bed is fully right. That means the side pulley will take the friction as well for the only for a different configuration. Okay, the CX. Okay, in this case, in this example, I proceed with C9. You can proceed with CX. Okay, you can proceed after you can see that how different configuration with CX. Okay, and you can check whether the the CX normally the power per belt going to be smaller. That means you need more belts. That is the choice. The choice, you have a lot of choice here. All right. You have a choice of diameter pulley. If you C, going to be this one. If you CX, going to be 6.8. That means you can have the pulley going to be a bit smaller. However, maybe I think going to be, if you can do at home when you have time, you can use CX. I think the number of pulley going to be more than C because the CX, because of the position of the, remember this is my relation, because remember this one, this one is all, this one take the friction. That means for each belt going to be larger power. This one only certain side. I think it's not mistaken. Is it fully on the side? I think on the side. Sorry, it's not what down. It's on the side. The side here. That means the area taken, the friction taken by what I call it, less area take the friction. That means the power per belt going to be smaller. When power per belt is smaller, that means that it's going to be large number. We need more belt than for the X compared to C. There is a solution for you. There's a possible solution. You can have CX, you can have C. Okay, did I answer your question? Because in project, that's all the possible answer you can have. Okay, right? It depends on your design constraint.
Alright, thank you.
Okay, right. Any more question before proceed with step number 6 and above? I think if you see the method going to be for the belt and for the test 2, is just plug the number into the formula. It's very straightforward. Okay, unlike the test number 1, you have to understand the foundation. That means I expect the test 2 going to be a lot better than test 1. Because you just just insert the value to the formula. You have the step here. The same as the bearing, you have the step, just follow the step. Ensure your calculation is correct. Okay, by checking, for example, let's say you know that the LD you choose the larger one, make sure that the C is going to be larger. If the C is smaller, then you have to calculate again. Because when the calculation wrong, the whatever going to be after they going to be, you have a mistake there. You're going to be dominant effect on the mistake. Okay, right. Okay, any more questions before we proceed? All right, we proceed for number 6. Okay, number 6, I think I give you can do, I just explain the concept of what is number 6 all about. Okay, and I give you a certain time, you can proceed and compare with mine. Okay, okay, for the belt, okay, this is what happened for the V belt. Let's say we choose C. This is what will happen to V belt. Okay, the belt is, okay, this is the power, the power for the belt. For example, let's say we have 500 RPM. Our pulley going to be 500 RPM. Okay, our smaller pulley going to be 3 inches. Okay, okay, that is the power for belt in horsepower. It's not mistaken. There will be horsepower because everything is horsepower, right? That means for every single belt going to be 1.03 horsepower. Okay, meaning that if we have more belt, that means, for example, if you want to transfer more belt than that, more power than that, we need larger number of belt. Is it right? That's the main idea. Okay. Then on the other side, there will be additional power rating, which is HA, which is depend on the speed ratio. In our case, going to be larger one, that means 0.11. That will be 500 RPM. That will be our Step number 3, that will going to be our SS over SA. That means this SSSA is the power per belt. Okay. Okay, that means power per belt and over the design, what we get? All right, do we get number of belt? All right, let's say we have, okay, let's say I just give a number here. Let's say we have 27 horsepower, the title, the design, but we per belt we're going to have, this is total, that's his design, 27 horsepower. But for each belt can carry only 4 horsepower. Meaning that 27 divided by 4, right? Okay, the 27 divided by 4 is going to be 27 divided by 4 is going to be, 27 divided by 4 is going to be 6.75. Okay, that will be the answer, 6.75. Meaning that we need to have how many belts? 7 belts. Is it right? We can have 6.75 belt. We can have, because this is going to be belt. I mean, the answer will be 7 belt here. Alright, this is going to be 7 belt. That means the answer is going to be the next round number. The same, okay, that's what it means. In order to have design power of 27 horsepower, the each belt 4, we need to have 6.75. Therefore, the solution is going to be, that's the main idea. Okay, for the SS, for the power per belt, you need another factor there. The factor Kc will be the factor of additional power correction factor. Okay, this is based on K theta, which is D 27 minus D divided by C. Remember, your C is going to be D1, right? 18 point something because you make a different one. Okay, then you find the value of K theta here. All right. If the value is going to be in between here, you need to interpolate. Actually, you find here 0.85. You need to interpolate between, and the value K theta will be here. That will be our K theta here. Right. That is my. Okay, this is going to be your value here, right? This is going to be your value here. Okay, you need to interpolate. All right. However, for the KL, it based on the length of the method. The length is going to be 95. 95, what is it? 95, let me take example, 97.9. Okay, 97, I'll double check. Is it the length of the signature going to be the length of the belt? They're going to be 97.9. That means in this case, going to be 97.9. We are using C. It's going to be 97.9. Oh, this value. 97.9. That will be 0.91. Right? SS from this table A4, A5, right? A6, sorry. That will be based on the C, choose C because that we will choose. Alright, 500 RPM, that will be one additional one. And the value of K theta, and you insert the equation, this will be the A design before that. You get number of belt, then you will get the next round number. That will be the number of belt used. Okay, if you look further on the power of belt, imagine, that's why I mentioned that the speed going to be a bit different. For example, let's say in the case of C here, or this is AX, you see to C, that's why a bit different. You should see here. Okay, this is the speed that possible, right? They're going to be the speed possible. You see 3, 9, they're going to be 7.6. That's why I have an additional going to be your ratio. All right. This is the minimum speed you can entertain. That means for C power rating, your pulley cannot go lower than 50. That means you cannot go 10. That will be minimum speed. Okay. That means that is the minimum speed here. For A, it will be different. This for BX, that's going to be not lower than 100. If you choose B, not lower than 100 as well. If you choose AX, not lower than 100 and so on. That means this value you cannot have any coefficient. For example, let's say in your design, okay, maybe you cannot choose for the slowest one, because the lowest one maybe the smaller pulley going to be lower than 100 because 0.1 RPM is right. And that means on that particular pair you cannot choose you must choose here because of the now RPM is less than what it should be. Okay, remember the importance of the table A6 power per belt in the case based on C. Okay, this is going to be power per belt. That will be based on the speed. It's not just the power per belt, it's going to be speed and based on the inches here. That means in this case, going to be power per belt going to be here, 7.6. And what is the ratio? Okay, going to be 7.74. That means for each belt going to be 0.76, 0.7 that power per belt, plus the factor K theta and KL, you calculate that. Okay, secondly, that here going to be what is the minimum RPM for the pulley. I cannot go below 50. That means if your pulley is moved by let's say 10 RPM, then you can use pulley. You can use belt. You must use here. Very important. What is the information you can gather from the power rating table? Very important. There's so many information you can look at this one. What is the most important because it affects your design. That's why if you want to choose the lowest one as using a pulley, is a belt, you cannot use that because RPM is very low than the value. All right. Can you proceed with A3? Okay, I did explain you certain things. You just read through this one. You just start from bottom to the top here. All right, right. Fill this one first. Find the K theta, interpolate in between. Okay, insert to equation KL. I think straightforward. You can use the origin 0.91. You can access from the table power rating and find the number of bell, and the answer will be the next round number. I think around 50 minutes. 12:35, you can just follow this one. 12:35, we can discuss there. You can compare with my answers. All right, proceed. 12:35. Just follow the step number 5. Okay, you can ask questions in the chat if you have questions. I can try my best to answer. Okay, right. Check with my answers. Okay, determine the number of bell. I think the K theta will be this is going to be the larger diameter over the distance. We got 0.974. Interpolate between this one, it's going to be 0.828. That K theta. KL 0.91. That is very straightforward because the ratio, the in between here, you just can have that. Okay. KC, okay, will be K theta minus time KL. That will be from this one. Okay, K theta times we got KC. That will be 0.753. Okay, for the power rating, it is 11.6 SS and 0.74 for your SS 476. This is going to be from table A5. Is 6, sorry. Okay, type C 7.6, 7.554. You will get, okay, it's all equation. At the end of the day, you get 4.5. If D divided by HC, you get number of 5 going to be, next round number going to be 5. Even though you got 4.01, still 5 number of that. Meaning that, okay, you need 5 bell, that 5 equal bell C90 in that pulley. That means the pulley must have 5 belts. Okay, any question? I think this is going to be a bit very straightforward compared to what you have before. All right, any question? All right, you can proceed with the other one. That will be the final step here, A3. Okay, allowance. That means for the pulley, as mentioned, this is the question that your friend gave. What is the allowance here? For example, let's say for the pulley, we have type C. Okay, we have 97, right? Then we can have 1.5, and that means we can have take out from 1.5 here to 1.5 on the other side. Okay, this is good. Intervention allowance from with 1.5, this 1.5, and the other one will be 2.5. This 1.5. This is going to be 1.5 inch. You need the slot. You need to have 1.5 inch here and 2.5 inch. That means your smaller pulley should move from 1.5 to 2.5 before 1.5 and after going to be 2.5. That will be what it means. That will be your take-out allowances. That means the pulley going to be 1.5 to 2.5 there. So let's say here 1.5 is going to be 2.5 inch. And we hopefully can move from 1.5 to after going to be 2.5. Okay, and can you see there is in the formula here? I just cover one formula there. It's a minimum static tension. Okay, what it means that, okay, if for example, let's say the pulley going to be set up here. Remember the smaller pulley going to be moved from these allowances. Okay. How do you determine that will be the best, what I call it, the best position that you get the right tension? And why should you do that? If you have the pulley here, you take the, you can gauge the tension meter. For example, let's say this is the pulley. You set up, remember your pulley is going to be moved. One side going to be moved with certain allowances. Okay. You fix it until you get the minimum static value going to be this value. This is the calculation based on the tight side and the slack side. You insert all the equation there inside here. Okay, plus W, and the W will be based on the table here, the value from here. Right? Then you get the equation. Okay. Okay. Then you get the whatever the tension value here. Then this value should be read by your tension meter, whether manual this one or maybe digital like this one. That's what I mean. That's what I mean the minimum static tension. That means when static, this is the tension of the belt. It should be the same at the side, the tight side and the slack side will not moving. Okay. Hopefully, by setting the value to here, you will get the right tension as in the in the design. Okay, that be all for the selection of belt. Okay, any question? Because we are talking about project after this. Any question? Alright, eh? Right now is the okay. What for the project? Your major project. Replace the pair of gear with the with belt. The pair of gear with belt. Select the suitable V belt to be used for the first center to center. The first person will use the minimum center to center distance will be 80 inches. The second person will be maximum center to center distance going to be 23 inches. You should maximize the center to center distance. And the third person will be the minimum center to center distance will be 20 inches on the first pair of gear. Okay, that means this will be unnecessary for the first person, this will second person will be the third person. All right, I think that's be all for the belt selection. Okay, any question? I think the topic will be this the last topic before test 2. We have another 2 topics. And for the 2 topics, for your minor project, we contribute 5% of the total marks. Okay. Any question on anything? Okay, for the project, for the next class will be on Tuesday, right? Tuesday morning going to be your bearing. Next Sunday will be your belt, and the other class will be your test 2. There's no class on the Tuesday. It will be take as a test. All right. Any question before we end the class? All right. If you compare with test 1 and test 2, test 2 is a bit the difficulty. I think let's say we give test 2 5 star, going to be 2 star or 3 star. I mean a lot. It's simple than the test 2. Hopefully that, but make sure that you do the right everything on the step that I give you going to be in the right place. The calculation and so on. I think it's not possible. Maybe many of you get 100 for the test 2. Okay, it's not possible. Right? It's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible for you. Many of you get 100. Okay, hopefully there's no simple mistake for the test 2. Simple mistake may affect the domino effect. Maybe, for example, you mistakenly select instead of B, you choose C. Instead of C, you choose B. Then what happened to be the step after that? There are a lot of K theta will be wrong. The power rating for each black will be wrong. The allowances will be wrong. That will going to happen. Okay, that will make sure that every single step is correct. The same with your bearing. Okay, make sure you get the right calculation, the right formulas, and so on. I think you do the right thing. At the end of the day, bearing a bit tricky. At the end of the day, it's going to be based on the question. The question can be a bit variation on the bearing. Okay, for the gear stresses, you must understand why they will choose on pinion. Okay, there is a J, there is a sharing and not tips. Why we choose the sharing one? Not sharing the other one. There's 2 graph, right? Remember? Why the graph on the X and the Y? So why we choose the sharing one? Because in the always shared, the load always shared by 2 bearing based on the contact ratio. Be careful on that, we should look for CS is what happens if P is smaller than 5, P larger than 5 or equal. What going to be the happen to the CG, CS, how we call it CS and so on. All right. Any question before we end the class? At the CIU, okay, you can ask question at the CIU, the attendance. Can the attendance. Okay, you just for those who haven't, you can scan. All right, any question? All right, no question. I think I got to end the class. Okay, thank you very much. And okay, do your project. At certain time, you can review your test 2. Okay. Assalamualaikum and stay safe. All right, thank you very much. And Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Stay safe.